"We'll just let in here," Hagrid said, "and put the lids on and we'll see what happens." But the Scrooge transpired, did not hibernate, and did not appreciate being forced into pillow-blind boxes and nailed in. Hagrid was soon yelling, "Don't panic, now, don't panic." While the Scrooge rampaged around the pumpkin patch, now strewn with the smoldering wreckage of the boxes. Most of the class Malfoy grabbed and Goyle in the lid, half fled into Hagrid's cabin through the back door and barricaded themselves in. Harry, Ron, and Hermione, however, were among those who remained outside, trying to help Hagrid. Together, they managed to restrain and tie up 9 of the Scrooge's though at the cost of numerous burns and cuts. Finally, only the Scrooge was left. "Don't frighten him now," Hagrid shouted as Ron and Harry used their wands to shoot just of fiery sparks at the Scrooge, which was advancing menacingly on them. Its sting arched, piercing over its back. "Just try and sleep," the rope round his sting, so he won't hurt any of the others. "Yeah, we should want that," Ron shouted angrily as he and Harry backed into the wall of Hagrid's cabin, still holding the grifts off with their sparks. Well, this does look like fun." Rita Skeeter was leaning at Hagrid's garden fence, looking at the mayhem. She was wearing a thick magenta cloak with a fiery purple color today, and her crocodile skin handbag was over her arm. Hagrid launched himself forward on top of the Scrooge that was cornering Harry and Ron, and flattened it. A blast of fire shot out of its end, whitening the pumpkin plants nearby. "Who are you?" Hagrid asked Rita Skeeter as he slipped a loop of rope around the Scrooge's stick and tightening it. Rita Skeeter, Daily reporter Rita, replied, beaming at him, her coat, this glinting, those Dumbledore said you weren't allowed inside the school anymore, said Hagrid. Rowling slightly he got off the slightly squashed script and started tugging in over to its fellows. Rita acted as though she hadn't heard what Hagrid had said. What are these fascinating creatures? Said she asked, beaming still more wittily. Blessed indeed, grunted Hagrid. Really? Said Rita, apparently full of lively interest. We never heard of them before. Where do they come from? Harry noticed a dull red flush rising up out of Hagrid's oval black beard, and his heart sank. Where had Hagrid got the screws from? Hermione, who seemed to be thinking along the same lines, said quickly, "They are very interesting, aren't they?" "Aren't they, Harry?" "What?" "Oh, yeah, interesting," said Harry, as she stepped on his foot. You are here, Harry." You are here, Harry," said Rita Skeeter as she looked around. "So you like a car of magical creatures, do you? One of your favorite lessons?" "Yes," said Harry stoutly. Hagrid beamed at him. "Lovely," said Rita. "Really lovely. Been teaching long." She added to Hagrid. Harry noticed her eyes travel over the lavender Sims was nursing several burn fingers, and then to the cabin windows where most of the glass stood, their nieces present against the glass, waiting to see if the coast was clear. "This is only my second year," said Hagrid. "Lovely. I don't suppose you'd like to go to give an interview, would you?" "Sure. Some of you experience of magical creatures. The prophet does a zoological column every Wednesday, as I'm sure you know. We could feature these bank indeed schools." "Blessed in that scripts," Hagrid said eagerly. Yeah, why not?" Harry had a very bad feeling about this, but there was no way of communication it to Hagrid without Rita Skeeter seeing, so he had to stand and watch in silence as Hagrid and Rita Skeeter made arrangements to meet in the Three Broomsticks for a good long interview later than a week. Then the bell rang up at the castle, signaling the end of the lesson. Well, goodbye, Harry. Rita Skeeter called merrily to him as he set off with Ron and Hermione until Friday night. Then Hagrid. She'll twist everything Harry said under his breath, just as long as he didn't import those screws illegally or anything, said Hermione desperately. They looked at each other. It was exactly the sort of thing Hagrid might do. Hagrid's been in lots of trouble before, and Dumbledore's never sacked him, said Ron consolingly. Worst that can happen is Hagrid will have to get rid of the screws. Sorry, did I say worst? I mean the best. Harry and Hermione laughed and feeling slightly more cheerful went off to lunch. Harry thoroughly enjoyed the double divination that afternoon. They were still doing star charts and predictions, but know that he and Ron were friends once more. The whole thing seemed very fun again. Professor Trelawney, who had been so pleased with the pair of them when they had been predicting their own horrific death, quickly became irritated as they sniggered, thought her explanation of the various ways in which Pluto could describe everyday life. I would think, she said in a mystical whisper that did not conceal her obvious annoyance that some of us, she started very meaningful at Harry might be a little less frivolous had they seen what I have seen. During my crystal gazing last night, as I sat here, absorbed in my needlework, the urge to consult the orb overpowered me. I arose, I settled myself before it, and I gazed into its crystalline depths. And what do you think I was gazing back at me? An ugly old bed in outside spec. Ron muttered under his breath. Harry fought hard to keep his face straight. Did my dears? Parvati and Lavender both put their hands over their mouth, looking horrified. Yes, said Professor Trelawney, nodding impressively. It comes ever closer. It circles overhead like a vulture, ever lower over the castle. She stared pointedly at Harry, who yawned very widely, and obviously it'd be a bit more impressive if she had done it about 80 times before, Harry said, as they finally rejuvenated the fresh air of the staircase beneath Professor Trelawney's rooms. But if I'd dropped it very time she stood me, I'm going to, I'd be a medical miracle. You'd be a sort of extra concentrated ghost, said Ron, shouting as they passed the blobby baron, going to the opposition director. His vibe is icy, staring sinisterly. At last we didn't get homework. I hope Hermione got lots of Professor Vector. I love not working when she is. But Hermione wasn't at dinner, and not was she at the library when they went to look for her afterwards. The only persons in there was Victor Krum. Ron hovered, backing the bookshelves for a while, watching Krum debating in whispers with Harry whether he should ask for an autograph, but then Ron realized that 6 or 7 girls were looking in the next row and books, debating exactly the same thing, and Bill lost his enthusiasm for the idea. Wonder where she's go to, Ron said as SB and Harry went back to Gryffindor Tower. Dunno, Balderdash, but the fat lady and barely began to swing forwards when the sound of racing wheel began, when then announced Hermione arrival. Harry, she panted, skidding to a half beside him. Harry, you have got to come. You will got to come. The most amazing thing happened, please. She seized Harry's arm and started to try and drag him back along the corridor. What's the matter? Harry said. I will show you when we get there. Oh, come on, quick. Harry looked around at Ron. He looked back at Harry and intrigued. Okay, Harry said, starting off back down of corridor with Hermione. Ron hurrying to keep up. Oh, don't mind me. The fat lady called irritable after that. Don't apologize for bothering me. I will just hand her wipe open until you get back, shall I? Yeah, thanks. Ron shouted over his shoulder. Next second, of the wind had been knocked out of him as she quilling hit him hard in the midriff. hugging him so tightly he thought his ribs would break. "Dobby!" Harry gasped. "It is Dobby, sir, it is," squealed the voice from somewhere around his navel. Dobby was been hoping hoping to see Harry Potter. Sir, and Harry Potter has come to see him, sir. Dobby let go and stepped back a few paces, beaming up at Harry, his enormous green tennis ball shaped eyes brimming with tears of happiness. He looked almost exactly as Harry remembered him, the pencil-shaped nose, the bat-like ears, the long fingers, and the feel, all except the claws, which were very different. When Dobby had worked for the Malfoys, he had always worn the same filthy old pillowcase. Now, however, he was wearing the strongest assortments of garments Harry had ever seen. He had made an even worse job of dressing himself than the wizard at the World Cup. He was wearing a hideous costume for a head on which he had pinned a number of bright hedge patterned with horseshoes over a bare chest, a pair of what looked like children's football shorts, and 8 socks. And one of these Harry saw was the black, and he had removed from his own foot and tricked Malfoy into giving Dobby, thereby setting Dobby free. The other was covered in pink and orange strips. "Dobby, what are you doing here?" Harry said in amazement. "Dobby was come to work and Hogwarts, sir," Dobby squealed excitedly. "Professor Dumbledore give Dobby and Winky jobs, sir." "Winky?" said Harry. "She's here too?" "Yes, sir, yes," said Dobby, and he seized Harry's head and pulled him off into the kitchen between the 4 long wooden tables that stood there. Each of these tables Harry noticed as he passed them was positioned exactly beneath that 4 house tables above it, the great hall. Exactly beneath the 4 house tables above in the great hall. At the moment they were clear of food, dinner having finished, but he supposed that on an hour ago they had been laden with dishes that were then sent up through the ceiling to their counterparts above. At last 100 little elves were standing around the kitchen, beaming, bowing, and curtseying as Dobby led Harry past them. They were all wearing the same uniform, a tea towel stamped with the Hogwarts crest, and tied as wings had been like a toga. Dobby stopped in front of the brick fireplace and taunted Winky. "Sir," he said. Winky was sitting on a stool by the fire. Unlike Dobby, she had obviously not forgotten for clothes. She was wearing a neat little skirt and blouse with matching blue hat, which had holes in it for her large ears. However, while every one of Dobby's strange collection of garments was so clean and well cared for that it looked brand new, Winky was plainly not taking care of her clothes at all. There were soap stains all down her blouse and a burn on her skirts. "Hello, Winky," said Harry. "Hello, Winky," said Harry. Winky's lip quivered, then she burst into tears, which spilled out of her great brown eyes and splashed down her front just as they had done at the Quidditch World Cup. "Oh dear," said Hermione. She and Ron had followed Harry and Dobby to the end of the kitchen. "Winky, don't cry, please don't." But Winky cried harder and ever. Dobby and the other hand beaming up at Harry. "Would Harry Potter like a cup of tea?" He squeaked loudly over Winky's sobs. Yeah, okay," said Harry. Instantly, about 6 hours, elves come trotting up behind him, bearing a large silver tray laden with a teapot, cups for Harry, Ron, and Hermione, a milk jug, and a large plate of biscuits. "Good service," Ron said in an impressed voice. Hermione frowned at him, but the elves all looked and delighted. They both very low and retreated. "How long have you been here, Dobby?" Harry asked as Dobby handed around the tea. "Only a week, Harry Potter, sir," said Dobby happily. "Dobby come to see Professor Dumbledore, sir. You see, sir, it is very difficult for a house elf who has been dismissed to get a new position, sir. Very difficult indeed." This Winky howled even harder. Her squished tomato of a noise dribbling all down her front, though she made no effort to stamp the floor. Dobby was traveled the country for 2 whole years there, trying to find work. Dobby squeaked but Dobby hasn't found work here because Dobby wants paint now. The house elves all around the kitchen, who had been listening and watching with interest, all looked away at these words. As though Dobby had said something rude and embarrassing. Hermione, however, said goodbye. Good for you, Dobby. Good for you, Dobby. Thank you, miss, said Dobby, grinning totally at her. But the most wizard doesn't want a house elf who wants paint, miss. That's not the point of a house elf, they said, and they slammed the door in Dobby's face. Dobby likes work, but he wants to wear clothes, and he wants to be paid Harry Potter. Dobby likes paint free. The Hogwarts house elves had now started edging away from Dobby as though he was carrying something contagious. Winky, however, remained where she was told. There was a definite increase in the volume in her crying, and then Harry Potter. Dobby goes to visit Winky and find out Winky has been freed to fear, said Dobby, delightedly at this. Winky flung herself forwards of her stool and lay face down on the fledged stone floor, beating her funny fists upon it and positively screaming, "Will my misery?" Hermione hastily dropped down to her knees beside her and tried to comfort her, but nothing she said made the slightest difference. Dobby continued with his story, shouting shrilly over Winky, screeches, and then Dobby had the idea. Harry Potter said, "When doesn't Dobby and Winky screeches?" I had the idea. Harry Potter said, "Why doesn't Dobby with Winky find work together?" Dobby says, "Where is there enough work for 2 house elves?" says Winky, and Dobby thanks. And it comes to him, sir. Hogwarts, so Dobby and Winky come to see Professor Dumbledore. I think this is the best thing that could have happened to those elves, you know, said Hermione, leading the say back up the marble staircase. Dobby coming toward her. I mean, the other elves will see how happy he has been. Free, and slowly it will dawn on them that they want them to. Let's hope they don't look too closely." And Winky said Harry. "Oh, she will cheer up," said Hermione, though she sounded a bit doubtful once the shocks warm of and she's got used to Hogwarts. She will how much better. See how much better off she is without that Crushman. She seems to love him, said Ron thickly. Doesn't think much or Bagman thought, doesn't she? Doesn't she, Harry? Said Harry. Wonder what Crouch said at home about him. Probably says she not a very good head of department, said Hermione, and let's face it, he's got a point, hasn't he? I would still rather work for him than old Crouch, said Ron. At the least, Bagman's got a sense of humor. Don't let Percy hear you saying that, Hermione said, smiling slightly. Yeah, well, Percy wouldn't want to work for anyone with a sense for humor, would he? Said Ron. No starting or a chocolate eclair. Percy wouldn't recognise a joke if it danced naked in front of him wearing Dobby's dear cozy.